Opa, já vemos aí imagens do LRock com
I'm LRock617. Hope you're all having a fantastic
X-Men de arcade, jogo da Konami aí, clássico.
So, to give some background, a lot of you are well aware that have watched me on RGL marathons before know that I've run this game for many of them. Like it seems like I always had this game in my back pocket, but today is going to be a little bit different. Thanks to some help from my good friend Gigasturt, who you see in chat there. This game is being run by myself for the first time ever on any stream on original hardware. I now have an arcade PCB for this hooked up to my Super Gun, and I think we're just done with emulation on this game for the time being, wouldn't you say? I'm really excited about this. Like, super duper excited. Also see a lot.
E agora dessa vez, no caso aí, é uma das primeiras vezes que que ele vai correr esse jogo em maratona com a placa de hardware original.
I've only ever really put time into on the PlayStation 3 download edition. It's really tough. It's essentially JP moveset, but it has also.
E no caso esse jogo ele foi relançado para os consoles da
quite a bit. You don't get health ups, so no power ups, no mutant power stocks, no none of that. Like you basically just have your fists and the timer. So anyway, get into it as I talk about it. Move over to Storm.
E no caso é a
For my first run, I dare not try to do anything.
Versão japonesa aí que ele corre é mais difícil. Essa versão aí, no caso de 4 jogadores, que você não tem power-ups pra usar. E ele tá jogando com a Storm, que é a Tempestade, que é a melhor personagem.
Yeah, this is just straight up going through component to a retro tank, and it looks great. So, being the JP version, we have access to this attack and this attack with Storm. You'll see me use this one sparingly, but this move is butter. It's the best move in the game. Pretty much do it all the time.
Basicamente, na versão japonesa aí do jogo, ele tem acesso a esse movimento aí que
the range on it is like ridiculous.
Fazer essa arma aí que é
I believe it was Zersh that did the research on it. I think it has like 90 pixels of range. Like this move is ridiculous.
É bem quebradinho.
You see that one if I'm on the low ground a little bit. Didn't really like getting hit there, but I'll be okay. There's only 1 damage. Go away, please. Plow our way through some sentinels. First boss Pyro, nothing too bad, but he can give us some.
É o primeiro boss aí, o Pyro.
Especially if he jumps around a lot. Okay, there's gonna go jump.
Não é grandes coisas, mas pode ser um pouquinho.
Getting this guy to stand still is the real challenge.
There
we go.
Pouquinho de RNG, por assim dizer. Mas só baitando ali o inimigo, ele conseguiu derrotar.
While this is primarily a speedrun marathon, what I'm doing here is I'm attempting to go for what I've mentioned many times on my stream as a 1 credit clear. This kind of category / challenge run does not use the fastest possible strats. That requires multiple death abuses because you're just spending mutant powers as Colossus and draining your health and doing it again and again. That's a valid category. It's different. It's just not the one I choose to participate in.
Basicamente, ele vai tentar fazer o One Credit Clear, ou seja, ele não vai fazer Death Abuse, como por exemplo se faz no N%, que você só spama o poder mutante com Colossus e é feliz com o resultado. E no caso, esse jogo aí, ele deu origem a uma das melhores frases do mundo dos jogos daí. X-Men, welcome to die.
So to explain the enemies, well, actually I guess I'll do that after I take out these turrets. Break down the wall. This is actually important because we just spent our only mutant power stock, and we won't get another mutant power stock unless we take a death. I'm not looking to do that, but if we do take a death, there is some silver lining. Sentinels are pretty easy to take down in the early stages. They only take 3 hits or a single throw.
No caso, ele utilizou o único poder mutante dele pra destruir aquela barreira ali atrás. E ele só vai conseguir Ele só vai conseguir um poder mutante novamente se...
Storm just gets to space him out with this 3A attack. You just really can't compete.
Aí no caso essa luta contra o Blob com a Tempestade é fácil porque ela tem esse ataque à distância, então simplesmente só faz o loop ali, bate e até o fim.
Now the game's gonna amp things up a little bit more in terms of difficulty. Past this wave of green sentinels we're fighting here, every sentinel we fight for the rest of the game has at least 2 knockdowns worth of health. We can one-shot them with a throw, but everything else is just knocking them down and then finishing them off. Lizard's also a bit, what's the word? Annoying, I guess we could say.
No caso, a partir dessa fase aí os sentinelas estão um pouquinho mais distantes, mas
a lot of their attacks tend to go over gravity. Like she doesn't really have a good way to hit them out of the airborne. When they go into the air like that, use their tail, like Storm doesn't have any good ways to respond to that. Her attack, while it has great range, is not that fast. Take up the flowers here.
Aí tá. Muitos inimigos eles conseguem acertar a Tempestade atingindo ela fora do centro de gravidade, mas porque apesar do ataque da Tempestade ter um alcance bom, ele não é muito rápido. Sim, ele não tem um... E tem inimigo ali que, por exemplo, ele consegue atacar a tela toda, então ele quer eliminar o mais rápido possível. Pra não ter problemas. E tá chegando aí o mini boss. Aí no caso ele utilizou um poder mutante aí. Você pode utilizar mais de uma vez o poder mutante, mas depois da primeira vez, a não ser que você perca uma vida, o poder mutante você gasta 3 de energia.
But in this game, there's a limit. You can only hit up to 2 enemies at the same time with any attack that isn't a combo finisher. So if I'm hitting 2 enemies and the third one waltzes in the way while I'm trying to finish off their boys, they usually get a hit in because they have iframes. It's really annoying and it's really difficult to keep track of at times, but as long as I keep my spacing proper, I should be okay.
E uma coisa meio trolladora desse jogo aí que ele comentou é que, por exemplo, você só consegue acertar 2 inimigos por vez. Ou seja, se o seu combo tiver, por exemplo, se o seu combo tecnicamente tiver acertado 3 inimigos, ele vai estar um dos inimigos ele vai estar com iframes e vai poder te acertar. Ó. X-Men, welcome to die.
Oh hey, Jasper decided to join me. Oh cool, I took a hit. Hi Jasper, bye Jasper. He's mad. He normally sits in my lap this time of day, and right now I have a fight stick in my lap, and he just doesn't get that privilege. Wendigo, pretty easy fight.
Temos aí mais uma boss battle.
Definitely one of those joke fights for Storm. She really doesn't have to play any kind of... She doesn't actually have to fight Wendigo, she just gets to play lane the whole time. It's a long fight at like 9 cycles, I think, but it really doesn't matter because he can't get in on us as long as I'm doing this. Just have to mind his iframes is all.
Mas é aquilo, essa luta aí com a Tempestade é um pouquinho longa, tipo, são 9 ciclos, mas ela é bem safe de se fazer se você fizer exatamente isso, uma estratégia bem parecida que você faz com o Final Fight, que é só que mais lenta, assim dizer.
They're generally not that big of a threat. They only have 1 attack, but it's at range. It's an energy beam that causes knockdown if both hits connect. As long as I get right up in their grill, this shouldn't be an issue. Ooh, that actually reached. I'm happy about that. Lizards get an upgrade in this stage too. This is the last stage we'll be seeing them, but they're kind of a doozy here. Not only do they have the tail whip attack they had in the last stage, but they also have a yoga
E no
flame attack
caso
that
aí, por
actually
exemplo,
really well
aqueles
against
lagartos
here.
aí, essa é a
But
última fase que
before,
eles aparecem.
something like,
O
oh,
Runner
I
tá
don't know, a
comentando aí.
dive would work really well against them. If they time a flame properly, it's not gonna work. Like you're just gonna get clipped, and you don't want that. Okay, I just wanted to anti-air him there. Safest option for sure. Oh, I did not want that to happen. I thought I had a little more time to move it down. Didn't play that right. Shouldn't be a huge deal though.
Tomou um dano ali que ele não queria da sentinela.
My biggest issue here is this Samus. The red Samuses are a real threat at full screen range because they have an attack that just shoots full screen.
Aí no caso
damage. We don't want to deal with that.
A pior ameaça aí no caso era
So as long as I approach them on the ground, they're not going to be a problem.
Esses inimigos aí que parecem aí com a Samus.
Yeah, like these guys, I
Que inclusive chama de Samus, que realmente parece com a armadura da Samus.
I can't remember where the bat spawns here. It's right there, okay. So the idea here is I want to try and get the bat up to a corner. And with proper behavior, I should be able to...
Aí a estratégia contra esse mini boss aí, o que ele quer é prender esse morcegão aí num canto.
He spawned a few miniature bats. Those guys actually soak up damage for him, which is rough. Like, you definitely don't want that. You'd rather just be able to deal the damage straight to him. So if you can catch him right as he's on.
E aquele morcegão lá, eles spawnam os mini morcegos e o que podem sugar sua vida. Que é o que a gente não quer, né?
Exponentially to that situation, because you can be fighting as many as 5 sentinels in a single given pixel all at once, and that's really dangerous. You only want to be fighting 2 at once. This guy down. I'll deal with him in a moment. I need to make sure these sentinels are in check. There we go.
Novamente, uma coisa que ele tá sempre fazendo geralmente tá só lutando com 2 sentinelas por vez. Porque elas podem ser bem chatas. Ali, por exemplo, vieram 3 inimigos Samus ali, só que o Runner ele preferiu gastar a energia dele usando um poder mutante e perdendo um pouco de vida no processo.
That actually is looking pretty solid. 5 health is definitely something that we can play with. Boss is a little scary because all of his attacks do 3 damage, but our spacing is better than his, except on 1 attack.
Aí no caso, 5 de vida é uma parada que ele tá satisfeito, que tá indo safe aí. Mas só que esse inimigo aí ele pode causar... os ataques dele causam 3 de dano.
That's the only attack we need to watch out for is that laser. Everything else is similar to fighting Wendigo. Just hit him 3 times and he goes down. And he can't outspace this except with laser. But if we have a good enough high ground against him, the laser.
E o único ataque que o Runner quer evitar é o ataque laser dele. O resto dá pra você ir de boa. Tipo, ele dá 3... Você dá 3 golpes e o inimigo cai.
There we go. Perfect fight. Throw a tornado in victory because it costs us nothing. Yeah, definite drama queen. If you have that reward, you move my channel.
Ele utilizou ali um tornado ali, mutante power só pelo swag. E salvou o que parece ser a Jean Grey.
Being held hostage somewhere undetermined. Take out this trio here. Okay, I wasn't sure if he was gonna fall in or what, but he was dead, so it didn't matter. New mechanic introduced in this stage is we've got these
Agora tem que enfrentar os Samus.
To our advantage, but I generally tend to avoid them because I just prefer to not get knocked in myself. Getting knocked in a pit in this game is an immediate death, which in a beat 'em up is crippling. Like you really, especially if you're like trying to go for the kind of challenge that I'm doing.
Tipo, aqueles... esses abismos aí, eles podem ser utilizados em sua vantagem, tipo, como qualquer beat'em up, mas o Runner prefere passar longe deles porque também pode ser acabar sendo usado contra ele.
approach me.
Agora ele vai ter que jogar um pouquinho safe.
Go. Go. Okay. Red Samus is the only real threat I can recall here. Once I take him out, it shouldn't be a huge issue anymore.
Aí no caso esse Samus aí vermelho é realmente a única ameaça mais grave que ele tem, então ele quer derrotar o inimigo o quanto antes.
For a mid-boss, we have the White Queen. Behaves really similar to how Pyro did in the first stage.
Agora temos aí mid-boss aí Emma Frost.
Which I'm gonna try and do. There we go. That's the iframe I was looking for.
Aí no caso ele vai.
Okay, so it's.
Ele simplesmente encurrala ela no canto e. E stuna ela naquela posição ali.
Hers were on some odd cycles. I didn't quite understand that. So I guess I was just having to relearn it, but it still worked out. He is fast on marbles, this is true. Alright, what y'all doing? Okay, so a bit more beat 'em up-y stuff here. That's pretty much just the case with the rest of the stage, though we are going to see one more enemy. Not to be confused with enemy TV. Just a new type of enemy.
Passou aí pelo Samus, aí basicamente coisa básica de beat'em up, destrói os inimigos.
The heck? Segment coming up here is a bit tough when I don't really have the health to utilize a mutant power. Take this guy out. Flanking Samuses are really dangerous to contend with. Especially this red guy who keeps giving me the shimmy. Don't want that.
Aí é uma coisa aí que é perigosa justamente esse. Esses Samus aí que teve que eliminar antes que as sentinelas aparecessem, porque aí ia complicar as coisas pro lado dele.
Part of the Reapers faction. Sorry, Reavers, my bad. They're not too difficult, but they can be really annoying if they get loose. It's pretty easy to stun lock them against the wall, but making sure you can actually hit multiples of them at once is kind of tough.
Apareceu esse novo inimigo aí que nesse tanquezinho, ele não é tão complicado.
Alright, so I overcommitted there a little bit, but I think we're okay.
É só você dar stun lock neles na parede e.
So Jugs is an interesting fight.
Por ele mesmo derrotar. Aí temos aí o Fanático, ou Juggernaut.
What I tend to do is I try to option select him by having him come to the bottom pixel. Then if he charges, I just go straight up and then hit him when he comes back. If he doesn't charge, then I just let him
basicamente o que ele faz é evitar os charge attacks dele. Aí depois três ataques o inimigo cai.
Jugs' attacks are all really high damage. Like they all do 3. There's punch, the gun blast, and the shoulder. And the shoulder is really hard to contend with, especially because of how fast it is. Like there, it was just instant. And I'm amazed I interrupted that. So he kills us in 2 hits. That's the reason this fight is.
No caso, o Juggernaut é um boss perigoso porque todos os ataques dele causam tipo 3 HP de dano.
I just rather maintain my positioning, and it worked out. So there we go.
E derrotou o Juggernaut.
Yeah, Juggernaut with a bazooka is like the second most important meme in the game after Welcome to Die. Alright, stage 6. To me, for Storm, this is the hardest stage in the game. It's one of the hardest stages in the game for just about any character. Storm just has less ways to deal with like all the real trash. Particularly the boss fight.
No caso aí, sexta fase é a fase mais perigosa do jogo. Normalmente, mas com a Tempestade é um pouquinho pior porque ela tem menos jeitos de você lidar com tudo que o jogo joga em cima de você. Deixa eu lembrar, esse é um jogo de fliperama, então esses jogos eles foram feitos pra fazer você torrar seus créditos.
Got a little bit hot doggish after what happened last time. Okay, so dive to this side. Needed to go a quiet time there for a moment while I could maintain this. That's advantage. I didn't get a combo finish on him. What are you doing? Oh, he was going to the other side. What What a jerk. Thankfully, I have these guys roped in over here, so we should be okay.
E o inimigo babacou ali.
Boxy boxing, is that what you're doing? Okay. Cool by me. I refer to that when enemies do like box formation movement because it's actually really like kind of jerky and it's weird. Like it's actually hard to like contend with that and deal with it. Woo. Big woof there.
Okay.
That's definitely not okay.
Evitar ali o Sam.
Oh my
Ui.
god, these input errors. We're definitely in trouble now.
Agora as coisas estão um pouquinho mais difíceis.
I'm not going to spend a mutant power though, because I want to see if I can have that for the following section. Then I'll most likely end up taking a death, or I could just take a death here. It's cool. That's a real bummer. That did not work out the way I wanted it to.
E ele levou uma.
Run's not dead, thankfully. We just can't no miss it now.
Levou uma morte.
We're just getting gobbled here. That is one of the great hazards of this game. When enemies knock you into another section that spawns more enemies, like things can get really bad really quickly. It's just part of dealing with it. So we had to spend our mutant power stock there to take out.
Ele utilizou poder mutante aí pra.
Man, they're just on point with this range today.
Eliminou os clones do Pyro ali
Why
pra.
this stage is so difficult. Every enemy in this stage has really good zoning, and they use it to full capacity. Like this is the point of the game where they just basically aren't messing around with you anymore. Almost quadruple kill. Let this guy come back. I'm not gonna jump at him. Too dangerous. Take that.
Mas aí que tá a dificuldade dessa fase aí, que por exemplo, se o inimigo te derrubar justamente num ponto de spawn de outros inimigos, só vai deixar as coisas mais complicadas. E aí temos aí.
These guys are just so much better when you can like utilize combo potential on them. And Storm doesn't really have that capability because she doesn't have fast attacks.
So,
like, yeah, I can keep them at range, but they have better range than I do because that scythe attack is ridiculous. So I gotta play this super cautiously. Yeah, that was not okay. That did a lot of damage. On a knockdown, those things do 3. And
esse boss aí é mais difícil
porque we're in a bit of a hustle here. High frames, not okay. Did not expect that. Alright, guess it's a 2cc from here. It has been about 6 months since I played
Hip 1cc virou N% agora. Capa.
First time for everything, I guess. Come here. All we really got back out of this is another mutant power stock.
Bom, pelo menos agora ele tem poder mutante aí pra poder usar sem perder life.
The Japanese version in most cases is easier than the US version, but there are a couple of instances where that's not the case. This stage in JP is way harder than US. Not crazy about the fact that I lost 2 lives there, but that boss fight did kind of go off the rails. They have much more control over
Aí ele comentou que, por exemplo, usualmente jogos, as versões japonesas são mais fáceis. Nesse jogo aí não, a versão japonesa ela é mais difícil.
Kill that guy. So Sentinels in this stage have the most health they've ever had. I think it can take upwards of 3 knockdowns to kill them. So OTG hits are huge. Like you want to make sure you're doing those. And we have the turrets returning from stage 2, who are a significantly bigger hassle than they are.
E no caso, as sentinelas nessa fase aí, elas têm mais HP do que o normal. Tipo, você tem que derrubar elas 3 vezes pra derrotar ou...
They only do 2, but if that happens multiple times, that adds up way too quickly, and it's pretty gross. Take on this thing. Bone breaker's all gone. Couple more waves of sentinels.
Derrotou os inimigos aí do tanquinho.
Okay. So here's the real crux of the stage. Here we have the boss rush. We have to fight 5 bosses again.
Agora é hora aí daquele momento ali que, novamente, boss rush.
Blob's same as it ever was, except he has less health, so that's actually a big thing for us. Wendigo's the exact same fight. Again, less health. I think they all
A diferença é que no caso,
whereas they originally had 9. Well, I shouldn't say all of them, just Wendigo, Nimrod and Juggernaut.
a diferença é que no caso eles têm menos HP do que
Blob's a little bit more
a boss battle original.
If you knock him down, he doesn't fall on the ground. He just gets put in a stun animation. Alright, for White Queen, I want to try and get her to the left. I believe she also has reduced cycles of health here. Her original fight had 6. I think this one only has 5. One whiff. There we go. So cute thing we can do here is with Nimrod, we can actually, similar to Emma, get him over to the left, and we can actually neuter some of his attacks. Primarily, we can neuter his laser, which is basically the only attack that beats Storm. Okay, there are iframes there. That's good.
Aí no caso ele trancou o inimigo no canto
e... The only
e...
attack he can do is he can punch us. But he's never to get in range to do that. So it's a really lame strat and it works really well. Basically the same goes for Jugs here. I'm going to try to get him to the left and not be able to fight me. He can't shoot his gun from off screen, and I don't believe he can shoulder charge from off screen either. I think he only has access to the punch, and I'm not worried about that. I can beat punch all day. Oh, hey, more Drama Queen. I like it.
Ele tá simplesmente jogando o Juggernaut off-screen, porque aí é... Porque ele... O inimigo ele não pode acertar o foguete off-screen nem dar charge, então ele tava mandando o Juggernaut pra fora da tela. Agora temos aí o Magneto, só que não é o Magneto. Vocês vão ver que é a Mística.
There we go. Reasonably good fight. And oh no, it wasn't Magneto at all. It was actually Mystique. Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is in another place. You tell him, Charles. So Magneto is indeed in another place. In this place, he busts through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man. I'll do my best to not talk over anything he says, because every Magneto quote in this game...
I am Magneto, master of magnet.
Honestly, Magneto is a fight just like any other boss fight in this game. The only thing to really be mindful of, I think, is shield. Like, shield is really dangerous to deal with. It's invincible, and he can, if he wants to, he can do it in response.
E tipo, a luta contra o Magneto é mais ou menos parecida com as outras, só que a diferença é que você tem que tomar cuidado com o escudo do Magneto.
I don't actually approach him to attack unless he laughs. He can cancel talking into anything. Like right now, if I go attack him, there's only a small chance that I'm actually gonna be able to hit him. But if
E aí ele explicou que nessa luta a única coisa que, tipo assim, quando o Magneto ele te provoca, ele tem que ver se o Magneto ele vai rir ou não.
Not super concerned about that. I'd rather just maintain my stocks and whatnot. Not quite sure that shouldn't have been in range, but okay, game. And again, much like with the other fight with Storm, it's just all about maintaining the high ground. Once you can do that, you're not going to be in a position to lose. This way, please. Thank you. Never heard this music sound this way before. This is pretty robust. Free hit. I forget it. I kind of forgot if he laughs after that one or not. Also, free wake up hits. Those are useful. I will go ahead and break it now. I'm tired of you.
Utilizou ali o tornado ali só pelo swag.
That was weird. I think that should finish him off. Oh, one more, I guess. And that's time.
E utilizou aí.
Yo, that
e
echoes.
Tempo, GG aí.
Oh, I was definitely off on my estimate. The PS3 version, I guess, runs a tad bit slower. I was getting like 31s and 32s for that one, so hey. Works for me. That's a finish. If I could mulligan stage 6, I would, but outside of that stage, this run was really good. Thank you all so much for the GGs.
E esse aí foi X-Men The Arcade Game.
Tangle Storm and Side Quests and Yells, Chaos Factor, Mappy, Gigasturts, easy PB. Easiest of PBs. Quarter and a dream. 2 quarters in this case. Appreciate it, Dissatisfied. Alright, everybody, that's going to be it for me for today. Looks like we're moving on to some additional Disney action. I believe up next we've got got Kong Cakes up with Hook. And Kong running the any game is always a classic. And he's really good at hooks. So hope y'all enjoy yourselves and stick around. We'll be back with you soon.
Próximo jogo aí que vai rolar aí é o Hulk, Hulk baseado naquele filme do Robin Williams, Hulk, o Retorno do Capitão Gancho.